Centennial innovates in aerospace and advanced manufacturing. My name is Matthew Thurston. I started studying at Trent University in Peterborough for physics. I did 1 year, dropped out, went back for another year, finished, dropped out again. The theoretical side of everything wasn't working, but I was really good at labs and all that. I spoke to an astronomer at one point, and they suggested I do kind of like hands-on instrumental stuff to get into instrumental astronomy. That helped me find Centennial's mechanical engineering design, and kind of went from there. I don't think I would have known about it if it wasn't for some of my teachers. Elvira Nijilovanu, she was my CAD teacher in first or second semester. She kind of pulled me out of the class. I went to Ontario skills competition for CAD design, and then through Elvira I was able to apply, or convinced to apply to the ARIES program, and I worked with the innovation team. I was just hired as a general student researcher, specializing in design. So my very first job was redesigning outflow valve muffler for Bombardier. That was kind of redesigning and 3D printing that. It was pretty fun. I worked with topology optimization software and stuff like that. So I started in just like design work and all that. But I kind of had a good reputation of being able to present slides and discuss with the customers and stuff like that. So I would say I excelled in that. I don't know if I get anyone else to agree with me, but it's helped me in my career now. Other than the outflow valve muffler project, I worked on an MBA test rig, which was testing polymeric bushings for landing gear. That was actually in this room here on the hydraulic press behind you. That was one of the most enjoyable projects I had here. I worked with a good friend even now, even 4 years later, whatever it's been, Nikolai. So yeah, we were a good team. Other jobs that I worked on was a feedback sensor for the actual steering of the landing gear. I didn't work so heavily on that because I was doing that at the same time as the test rig. And then the last project that I worked on was 3D printed metal kind of compression and tensile testing with chromation. That was pretty cool. My favorite project by far was the MBA MTS machine kind of test rig project. So before I joined the project, the design was mostly complete, as well as FEA. Essentially, it was to build a large test rig to be compressed onto various kind of housings, which we inserted a polymeric bushing, and the bushing would see all sorts of stresses, and it was to test till failure. So it took a lot of working around with the MTS software, and we did like a GUI and programming and circuitry to have a motor rotate the bushing at the same time. But the most enjoyable part was working with Florian, who is the PI, and Nikolai, who is my coworker. We were in this room till like, I don't know, 5 a.m. some nights, or just before, or something like that. But yeah, we were working late. It was really fun. We successfully destroyed the bushings in testing. I wasn't able to stick around to see the actual developments after that. I graduated around that time, but it was really enjoyable to work on that. The purpose of that project was to replace metal bushings with a polymer that had less maintenance time, and I think it could go longer. So you wouldn't have to put grease into the bushing every time you operate the airplane, or whatever the actual schedule was for that. But it would reduce maintenance and the use of greases and oils and stuff. Working with the customer, which was both Safran and MBA, Marsh Brothers Aviation, I mean, we were talking weekly and presenting to them, so I learned a lot about presenting to a customer or just working with a larger company, and I can't say how much it just helped me in my career, but it was just an unbelievable time here in that project. Really a lot. First thing we did was most of the parts were already designed. They arrived here and we assembled that. So hands-on experience assembling. We used the machine shop just in the other room to our right to machine components to fit and stuff like that. That really helped me in the first step of the career that I'm in today. Other than that, the soft skills, like just speaking with customers, like critically thinking on how to solve a problem that comes up during testing. Lots of times you're behind a computer or something, you don't actually get to see the physical changes and what you need to do to accomplish the end goal of the project. But when you're actually building it, it's kind of proactive and kind of learning as you go. But I would say that if I didn't work with the Aries program while I was at Centennial, I don't know if I'd be able to be in the job that I have today. Just working with customers, having confidence to speak was like one of the biggest things. I kind of entered Centennial thinking that, okay, I just want some piece of paper showing that I finished something. But in the end, it changed my life for sure. So I really appreciate all the time that I've had at Aries and the innovation program at Centennial. So like I said, the experience of assembling that test rig really kind of helped with the career that I was able to get right after school. I was actually still working for Centennial Innovation Team when I was hired at BWXT. So I was working part-time at Centennial. But I was hired at BWXT for a mechanical technician. I was assembling large components for the nuclear industry. Working with my hands, hopping on a mill or a lathe to finish a component to assemble it together. That really helped. The work at Centennial, I wouldn't have been able to get that job without my work here. So I worked in that position for 1 year. So I finished last year around this time, and I applied to a new position as a manufacturing engineering specialist, which is kind of a mini project manager at BWXT. And my roles and responsibilities are, I have 15 or 18 projects on the go at one time. Lots of them are on the shop floor, or some of them are with vendors for manufacturing. I'm essentially a project manager for those components, following up with the customer, following up with the vendors daily, and discussing with our large team in Peterborough about how to get this job complete and shipped to the customer on time. Always trying to learn and kind of fix errors from the past. My current position, we use a lot of drawings and things from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Lots of things have changed in manufacturing and construction since then. Working with the nuclear plants and all that to kind of innovate and build things up, make sure things are better than they were before. I think always enhancing stuff is all about innovation, either like a physical component or even with softwares, CAD design and all that. I think the steps we're taking in terms of software is just unreal. If you are at Centennial right now and you are not in the innovation team and you have not applied to Aries, you have to do that right now. Like I said, working for the innovation team like that, it changed my career kind of future. So I would recommend any student, and I want any student to kind of follow that path. But when you do work for the innovation team, really get involved with your projects. Try to learn as much as you can through the research and actual completion of the project, whatever the project entails. And learn to communicate with the customers, your team. It's really important for, not only getting a job right after college, but advancing, getting to the next level from that position you did get initially. Yes, actually I have a big one. You're probably, if you're watching this, you might want to be graduating Centennial College in the GTA or Downsview, Progress Campus, wherever you are. Please, please, please apply to companies outside of the GTA. Apply to BWXT, NEC in Peterborough. Honestly, I've never seen as many people hired as we've been hiring in the last year and a half, or half a year. There's been like tremendous hiring sprees. BWXT has locations in Oakville, in Cambridge, in Toronto, in Brampton. We're all over kind of this area, but try not to stick with the GTA because you can make a lot more money. You can develop your career a lot faster in a less competitive environment, or just think outside of the GTA. I'd really recommend people do that. That's all. I really love my time at Centennial, and I attribute my current success to everything I learned here. Centennial innovates for a better world.